Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Captain Scott again from the Civil Engineer School at the Air Force Institute of Technology. Today, we're going to talk about drawing in Revit. So we're going to draw structural items, structural members. So today, we're going to talk about slabs and floors specifically, and then we'll get a little bit into walls. And then I'm also going to talk about choosing your type of wall and editing that type of wall, because it could be a little bit confusing at the first go. So I've hopped into a new Revit file. If you watch some of my other videos, I've got the two sheets open, but this is just the generic display that we see. So the default Revit template. So I'm specifically in the architectural template that's mainly used for construction, facilities and things like that. The civil could be used for obviously civil site work and stuff, but I'm in the architectural one for now, and it comes with a number of views. So if you go over here on the left hand side, you'll see all the views that are just pre-populated from Revit. So we've got our floor plans, our floor plan views, and I'll show you where these come from here in a second, and then our ceiling plan, and then we have 4 elevations. So obviously this would be our north, south, east, and west elevations. These are the viewports for those, and those are all loaded in here by default. You won't have any sheets, so let's go back to those other videos to look at loading sheets and all that. So just to get started, where do these come from? So these come from our basically how Revit sets up our project. So this is a 3D view. This is the 3D view, and we can see that we've got our level 1 and our level 2. So if we go to our north, we can see it a little bit easier. We've got our level 1 and level 2. So these are all default. Level 1 is always at your datum, right? It's always at your 0 feet 0 inches, and you can change these pretty easily. I'm going to leave level 1 right here for now, but we can change these really easily, but just by modifying this. So if I want maybe my ceiling height, or maybe I want my wall height to be 12 feet instead of 10 feet, I can just go in there, change the text, and it automatically moves this level up 1 more feet. If I want to add a new, let me see where it's at. If I want to add a new level, so if I want to add a new level, it's in my architectural tab. So I can come over here, I can click level, start on this side. So maybe I want it to be, oh, I don't know, 4 feet above that. And it automatically brings me in a new level. So here we can see our new level line on this sheet, and we can also see a new level 3 floor plan and a new level 3 ceiling plan. So that's how these views are generated. So if we go to our level 1, we go to our level 1 floor plan and we start drawing on this floor plan, it's gonna basically just start to draw on this plane. Let's see how that happens. We can draw a floor or a slab or anything like that, and your basic structural components are going to be either in your architectural tab or your structural tab. So architectural, we have walls, both structural and architectural. A lot of these combine, a lot of these cross. Where your architectural wall is more like a partition wall, something like that, and your structural wall is going to be obviously maybe a CMU block or a structural frame wall or something like that. They're very similar, and just because you choose an architectural wall doesn't mean it can't be a structural wall later, but this is just how it's set up. We can do doors, obviously doors and windows. Components, so if we click on this component, we can insert all sorts of different types of components. Like you can see I've got a desk loaded up right here, but you can insert vegetation, you can insert, I must not have it loaded, but you can insert plumbing fixtures and things like that. Those are all component pieces. And then if we slide a little bit further over to the right, we can see roof, ceiling, floor, and all that kind of stuff. So floor, this would be like maybe a 2x12 that goes over maybe a CMU foundation wall or something like that. If we want to do a structural slab, if we want to do like a slab on grade, come over to the structural tab, and we can see, we choose a structural foundation, a slab. So we're going to do that. We're going to click a slab. Just the main portion, or the main default, is a 6-inch slab, but we can change that if we want to. Looks like I don't have any loaded in here, but we can pretty easily edit the type. And if you remember to a couple of videos before, I talked about duplicating. So if we just go in here and we change the structure of this foundation slab, the name is not going to change, just the structure is going to change. So we want to duplicate it. We want to name it something else. So maybe we'll call this I don't know, 4-inch slab or something like that. Okay. And then we can change the structure. So we'll get into the structure of walls in particular, because those are a little bit more challenging. But when you go into edit, you can change this is the only thing I'm going to say about the assembly or the edit. You can change the thickness of your slab right here. Okay. And now you have, instead of a 6-inch slab, now obviously you have a 4-inch slab. So it's as easy as that. And there's some other properties in here that you can play around with. These are more advanced modeling properties, but this is kind of all we'll say about that for right now. So click OK. Now we have a 4-inch slab. So drawing the slab, you use your draw tools up here. So we're just going to draw. A pretty small or medium-sized slab. So however you want to draw it, click OK, and now we have our slab. And so what Revit does is Revit puts it. I'm going to 3D. Actually, let's go into our north view. We can see a little better. Revit puts the slab right at the top, or puts the top of the slab right at the first floor line. So that's how it's drawn. For some reason, it doesn't like to show up on your first floor plan. I'm not sure why that is, but that's how it is. So we come over here, we can see the slab right here. All right, so that was the slab. Obviously, now we can do very similar. We can do a floor, and I suggest that when you start to draw your slabs and your floors and your walls and all that kind of stuff, start from the ground up. Start from as low as you can go. So start from that bottom side of maybe your wall strip footer, or if you have columns and beams, like a steel structure. Start from the very bottom of your foundation and then work up. It's just going to make everything a lot easier. If you start with your slab and you try to go up and then down, it's just a little muddy. So not that it's not doable, but definitely try to start at the lowest point possible. So let's see. So for our floor, we can do a very similar thing. We can do either an architectural, or we can do a structural floor too. This is that slab on the last page. Like I said, a lot of these kind of gonna go all together. You can also do thickened edges on your slab. We're just gonna do a quick architectural floor, and we'll do, I don't know, a wood joist 10 inches with wood finish. You can choose a lot of different floors, or you can create your own. But we're just gonna do this, and we will draw a floor right here. So, and then again, where we saw that our slab didn't show up in the first floor plan. For some reason, the floor does like to show up. So again, I'm not sure why that is. Just be aware that those things may happen. So let's go back to our floor plan. Or let's make sure these are okay. So they're not crossing. Let's go back to our floor plan. We'll start to build up some walls on our floor. So to do walls, we choose our wall. We'll just use an architectural wall, and then we can actually, again, using our draw tool, we can draw the outsides of our lines. Before we do that, we want to look at some of the properties. So our walls have a number of properties right up here at the very top of the draw. window, I guess, where we can specify basically where they're going. So we can say that they're going to be at a height. They our base constraint. So our base want it to be level 1. If we have a multi-story house, obviously we may have a different base constraint, but in this case, we want our base constraint to be 1, and then the height to be up to level 2. So in this case, this is going to be a wall that goes from level 1, from the top of that of this floor to level 2. If we want it to be, if we want it to be something else, if we want it to go up to a height that doesn't have a level associated with it, obviously we do unconnected. We can put the height right here, and you can also choose walls that go in a downward direction. So in this case, you may put maybe a CMU wall that goes from the first floor down into the foundation. That may be an option for you. So you may use the depth tool. But in this case, we're going to do height, and we're going to do height up to level 2. Also, the location, so where the wall is being placed. So in this case, when we draw our line, it's going to align the center line of the wall with our line. That may be useful. That's useful more in partition walls or interior walls or something like that. For an exterior wall, what I like to do is have the line location at the finished face exterior. That way we know that the wall is going to be at the edge of the wall and the edge of the floor is going to line up. So from there we can just start to draw. So you can see that it starts to draw our wall. If for some reason we want to, we go in the wrong direction, as you can see, the exterior of our wall is on the inside. You highlight the wall and you push these little arrows, and it changes the orientation of the wall. So then it changes the exterior face to be on the actual outside. All right, so we'll do some more walls. Do walls around the exterior of the facility. And Revit is smart. Revit meshes these two things together, and it's based on the way that the walls are built, but it meshes these together pretty slickly. So if we go back, I'm going to delete this slab real quick. So if we go back out, we can see that we have our wood plank floor with our 4 walls around it. So it looks pretty slick. All right, the last thing that we'll talk about in this video is the type. So we'll edit the type and the structure of the wall. So we'll go into edit type. Again, if we were to just edit, we were just to go into the edit of this generic wall, then we would actually be editing that family. So what we want to do first, we want to duplicate it. So maybe I'll put exterior CMU wall or something like that. Click OK, and now we have a brand new wall type that we can edit from scratch. If you don't want to do that, there's actually a number of walls that are pre-built. So these are all pre-built and come with the program. And there's a lot of really cool ones, right? So like brick on CMU. There's actually a CMU on metal stud, and I think this has, instead of CMU insulated. I think this one has, instead of metal studs, it's got little throwing strips, so it makes the wall profile a little bit smaller. But if you don't like any of these, you can edit the structure, and you edit the structure by going into edit, obviously, and you insert a number of different layers. So there always must be a layer between the cores, but you can actually insert layers above the core also. So this would be really the best way to think about it is this is the structural piece of your wall, and then this is the vapor barrier and the air barrier and the insulation and the the drywall and all that stuff. So how you would do it is you would click the 3 dots in the material and let it load, and you try to find the material that you want. So you can use the search bar to find the material that you want. So maybe I want a CMU block wall. I know I want the thickness to be 3 5/8. I want it to be a one course block wall. Then on the exterior side, we've got the exterior side and the interior side. On the exterior side, maybe I want I want an air barrier. So this would just be air. This would be a barrier of air. So we've got, let me see, just air. And we can do maybe a 3-inch air barrier. And let me insert one more. And this would be maybe a finish one. This could be like a brick, something like that. All right, so then we do a common bond brick. What is this thickness? 2 3/8, I think, something like that, or maybe 2 5/8. That's that thickness, and then on the inside, maybe we can do a substrate. Oh, maybe a furring strips in here. Yeah, so we got metal furring. Make this maybe a 1/2 inch furring strip. And then the last piece we would have on the interior side, we would have a, make this finish 2. We'll make this gypsum drywall. Gypsum wallboard on the inside. We'll make our wallboard pretty thick. We'll make it 5/8 of an inch. And then I know there may be, moisture barriers or air barriers. You can insert those just by doing something like this. You could do a layer that has a 0 thickness. Make this a thermal layer, and you could go back to our air. I think there's an air barrier. Yeah, air infiltration barrier. You can put that in here too. Maybe we'll make that 0. I think you can make it 0. Yeah, so it's got to happen. We'll do, I don't know, 0.1. We'll make it really thin. All right. So here's our new wall. Click OK, and you can see that our new wall, or our wall changes dimensions. So these ones also have to be. These other walls also have to be changed, but it's as easy as finding that wall that we just created, and just choosing it. So to see what it actually looks like, we'll make fine and we'll look realistic. And you can see that we've got our, you can see it's got a brick, kind of a brick structure on the outside. We also see we've got a wood, some wood on the inside, brick on the outside. And if this was CMU, so if we go CMU, yeah, you can kind of see the texture of the CMU, maybe a little bit on the inside. But when we start to render things, that'll become more apparent. So that's how you do the structure of walls. You can do the same thing on the structure of a floor. It's just really, really, really important to remember that if we're going to edit types, we need to duplicate our family, our family type. We need to duplicate that so that we're not changing walls that we don't want to. Again, it's really important to remember that, especially when you're doing interior walls, because you may want a different type of interior wall, like maybe the wall between the bathroom and the kitchen or something like that, or 2 bathrooms in a commercial facility, the men's and the women's bathroom. Maybe you want that to be a little bit thicker, so you make sure that you duplicate that family type, that wall type, before you modify it, or else it's going to make all of your walls a lot thicker. So, all right, that's a little bit on walls and floors. Next video we'll talk about roofs and how we deal with roofs. Thanks, guys.